beaucoup de sénateurs qui ont été surpris de son point de vue.
That is the government Senate leader speaking to Radio-Canada. Senator Claude Carignan says the upper chamber may consider alternative punishments for 3 senators facing suspension. Senators Pamela Wallin, Michael Duffy, and Patrick Brazeau are accused of making inappropriate expense claims. With more on this developing story, I'm joined now by the Liberal leader of the Senate. Senator James Cowan joins me from our Halifax studio. Sir, I'm glad to have you with me again today, this time by phone, because I want to get your reaction to these latest statements from the Conservative Senate leader, Mr. Carignan. What is your reaction to what you've heard today?
Well, I'm astounded, frankly. They're just making this up as they go along. I've had concerns all the way along, as you know, about process. I've recommended to the Senate, I proposed an amendment that would send these motions to a special committee that could deal with it quickly and fairly, and we would have a proper process. But Senator Carignan thus far has refused, and they are going ahead, so far as I know, with motions that would suspend these 3 senators for up to 2 years without pay and benefits. And this is... And then we had the Senator Brazeau saying he had a conversation in the back hall with Senator Carignan the other day, and now we hear that maybe it's going to be discussed with the Conservative caucus. So are we saying that are they saying now the due process is the decision of the Conservative caucus? I don't think so. That's not the way to do these things, and I hope that the government senators will stand up and that they will support my motion for a proper process.
I understand you do have some issues with the procedure, perhaps, here, the fact that it seems to be being discussed outside of Senate chambers, for example. But I wonder, given what we are hearing today, you have been asking for more flexibility, not just you, but some Conservative senators as well. So is this not a step in the right direction in terms of how you're considered?
Well, my quarrel was never with what was the appropriate penalty to impose on each of these 3 senators. That was not. I'm not defending them. They took money that they made inappropriate claims to the Senate, and they were ordered to pay money back. But I wonder about the timing of this. Why right now? The government wasn't interested in May when the reports came in doing anything further. Senator LeBreton, who was the government leader then, said, well, look, you pay the money back. They paid the money back. Case closed. Well, now they want to open the case and they want to impose these sanctions. And now we hear via media reports that they might be going to discuss some change in the penalties. This just is the wrong way to go about doing it. And why? The only thing I can see is that they want to get this all swept under the carpet and dealt with by the time of their convention next week. And that's not the right way for us to do our business.
Carignan's comments today, Claude Carignan, certainly do represent a change in approach, and I'm hearing you that you're not approving of the way this is all unfolding. It does sound as though it would be decided internally by the Conservative Senate caucus. So speak to me more, if you would, about your concerns, if that is the case, about how this is being dealt with internally.
Well, Senator, I was saying that, before, that we have ongoing police investigations. We don't want to do anything that will jeopardize those investigations or anything that might result from those investigations by way of charges. None of us want to do anything that would do that. Some of us have concerns, many of us have concerns about what we're doing right now and why we're doing it. But Senator Carignan said, no, it's the Senate's responsibility to do this, so we need to have an open debate in the Senate, and everybody can have their say, including the 3 senators affected. But now he's saying, well, I'm going to go back to my Conservative caucus, and we're going to have a conversation, and maybe we'll make some changes. So instead of having the Senate as judge and jury, he's now apparently suggesting that it's going to be the Senate caucus, which is Senate Conservative caucus, which is going to be the judge and jury, and that surely is inappropriate.
Given all of this, how do you expect the Senate sitting tomorrow to go now?
Well, as you know, the government has, in addition to bringing in these 3 motions, which we've debated, and I must say that my colleagues on the Liberal side have made some very thoughtful contributions to the debate. Apart from Senator Plett, Senator Siegel, and I think Senator Lang, perhaps Senator Wallace, nobody. They've got 60-plus Conservative senators, and none of them have have stood on their feet and given us their views. But we have, in addition to this, then they've come in and said, all right, we're going to shut down debate. We're going to bring in closure. And that's the discussion we're going to have tomorrow night. We're not even going to be discussing the merits of these claims. We're going to be talking about whether or not it's appropriate for the government to be shutting off debate. This is crazy.
Just a final thought from you, because I know you and I were speaking yesterday. You told me that you felt that these three senators in question should at least have a chance, your proposal is in a separate Senate committee hearing, to really tell their story, to defend themselves. They have had a chance to speak, we know, in the last week, dropping bombshells along the way. I wonder, do you think that those speeches did have an impact, and that that's why we are seeing some movement, apparently, inside the Conservative caucus?
Well, I think they did have an impact. I hope that the positions that I and my Liberal colleagues have made will have had an impact on them. And I also think that they will have heard from hundreds, if not thousands, of Canadians, as I have, that they are upset at the way in which this is being done. And this whole ploy, this whole maneuver, has blown up in the government's face. And I think that Canadians are rightly upset at the Prime Minister for what's happening here.
Senator,
so it's gotten worse for him rather than better, in my view.
I appreciate you joining us again today on your Sunday on this latest development. Thank you for this.
Happy to talk to you.
Senator James Cowan joining us by phone from Halifax.